Hello all and welcome. I'm the mgtowphilosopher, and in this video I would like to talk about an article I came across entitled How to Respect Women in Your IT Company. No, not in your garbage collection company. No, not in your plumbing company. In your IT company. Yes, that's right, because women, they really don't want to be in the jobs that men do that are disgusting and nasty and difficult to do. No, they want the jobs where you just sit down and look at a screen and get paid money. Yeah, that sounds so easy. I mean, why am I not seeing one of these articles entitled How to Respect Women in Your Fire Department? How to respect women in your police department? Or how to respect women in your sewer cleaning department. It's always something that has to do with one of these STEM jobs, something in technology, something that makes decent money. No. Women are always wanting to be in the jobs that they perceive to be easy and make the most money. Whether you're a developer, project manager, or CEO of the IT company, there are some rules that you should know when you work with other women. What do you mean other women? What are you talking about? First of all, you're supposed to be talking to men, so it's not going to be other women. You're trying to talk to men. This article is entitled How to Respect Women in Your IT Company. So why would you say other women when it's clearly men that you're talking to? Men are not women. Or are they? A little Freudian slip on her part. She wants men to be just like women, of course. And of course, this article was written by a woman. You'll see that when you read it. Anyhow, let's get to it, shall we? This just annoys me so much. I mean, why don't you ladies go get jobs sifting through garbage and separating the recyclables from the rubbish that's... I mean, why don't we have an article titled How to Treat Women in the Recycling Industry? Oh, no, it's always got to be IT because that is the goal for women, to get them all peopled throughout these top jobs in American society where they make the most money and have the most influence, of course. You would be aware of underrepresentation of women in tech, pay gaps. Let's take a look at the woman who wrote this article, shall we? Never mind. I can't access the picture right now. She looks like some kind of gypsy wearing a freaking headscarf and gigantic glasses. It's, oh, God. Pay gaps. There's no pay. There's earning gaps, you dummy. There's an earning gap, not a wage gap. And there's an earning gap. It's because the men work more and more qualified. There's nothing to do with men getting paid more. Nitpicking or even sexual harassment. Yeah, notice that nitpicking. So women are much more sensitive than men. So if you offer them any criticism, they consider it nitpicking. They can't handle criticism, so it's always some kind of unfair action. Oh, you're treating me unfairly. Oh, you're nitpicking at me. Besides all of these problems, there exists one major thing that decreases women's productivity. Them being women? Oh, no, it can't be that. Everyday microaggressions. Oh, you know the writer of this article is a friggin' moron. Microaggressions aren't a real thing. You know what the left it classifies microaggressions as? They're the ones that created this nonsense. Microaggression is some kind of words that equate to actual aggression. You say something, and it's equivalent to a physical attack. It's on par with violence of some kind. Yeah. Good Lord. Everyday microaggressions from men to women. Microaggressions is one of the stupidest things. It's just to shut people up. Anytime somebody says something that you don't want to hear, you can label it as a microaggression, and that way you can shut the other person down. Oh, you're committing violence against me, and violence is wrong because I haven't done anything to you. You're initiating violence with me, so now I'm allowed to strike package you. And now I can shut you down because you've initiated violence against me, and that's always wrong because I haven't done anything to deserve that. It's not like you're defending yourself. So now I have the right to shut you down, and you can't speak anymore. Now I can speak and say whatever the hell I want, even if you consider it a microaggression, but it's not the socially agreed upon narrative that fits within the definition that we've created for a microaggression. This kind of microaggressions could differ from saying inappropriate things. Inappropriate says who? This is what I'm talking about. The left gets to decide what constitutes a microaggression. You don't get to decide. They get to decide. Yeah, it's totally subjective based on their subjective standard. Meaning that if they get offended, but they all get offended by the same things. They've all been programmed like fucking robots to get offended by the same shit. So they all have the same script in their head of things that automatically trigger them and get them offended. Because they've all been indoctrinated to feel offense at these specific kind of things. Now you, of course, well, you might consider something offensive, but it's not in their narrative. It's not in their big book of definitions of things that qualify as microaggressions. So you cannot be microaggressed against unless it's in their rule book. Inappropriate things about your female colleagues' clothing to write in a horrible anti-diverse... She's talking about that thing at Google where that goofy guy with the gigantic nose wrote what was in no way an anti-diversity manifesto. It was grounded 100% in logic and science, was in no way anti-anything. In order to protect your company from being the center of the next anti-diversity scandal. Meaning suggesting that maybe the disparity of men versus women in tech might have more to do with biology than some kind of implicit bias or some kind of unconscious bias. Oh, yeah, we can't have that. No. There's no differences between the sexes. No, it's all a social construct, which is the way it would have to be, because his memo didn't say anything about anti-diversity. He was talking about biology and how biology plays a hand in the differences between men and women and why there would be different numbers of men, meaning more men, in tech than compared to women, because it doesn't appeal to women as much on a biological level. Oh, we can't. No. That's not reality. Yeah, that's the truth, but we got to ignore that truth, because if we don't ignore that truth, then we can't shoehorn more women into these jobs. I see. In order to protect your company from the center of the next anti-diversity scandal, it's good to remember things that I am going to write in this article. So she's a social engineer, and she's going to tell people in the workplace, both male workers and bosses, how they need to act toward women. I see. Number 1, accept women. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. What do you mean accept women? In what context? First things first, women are capable of programming. Yeah. So what? What's your point? They're capable of speaking and eating. Where's the point? Programming is not a male-specific job. No, but men generally do it better. Scientists say women write even better code than their male. Who said that? What scientists? Tell me these scientists. The same that say the dinosaurs lived at the same time as the first humans? Are these the same scientists you're talking about? You know how easy it is to find some scientist out there with a biased agenda? There are people out there with PhDs that teach that dinosaurs lived alongside human beings. Okay? Would you agree that's right? No, you can always find somebody who labels themselves a scientist and has the requisite piece of sheepskin to say, hey, look, I'm a scientist, who'll say the most crazy shit on earth like this. Yeah, I suppose that scientists say women are better fighters, too, and they're better soldiers. Yeah, why don't you tell us some more bullshit that we know is not true, but you got some idiot who went out and they got a PhD so they could run around and say crazy shit and present it as somehow scientific because they earned some arbitrary title that obviously doesn't apply to them because they have crazy beliefs. Also, women were dominating the computer-related jobs when it was seen like a secretary job that usually considered women's job before. What? What is she talking about? Also, women were dominating the computer-related jobs. That's like, a secretary. She was sitting there typing. Yeah, she was typing on the computer. That's not... What are you talking about? They didn't dominate computer-related jobs. She typed on a screen. She went from typing on an electric typewriter to typing on a computer in the office. So what? What nonsense is this? She's typing reports and shit and taking her dictation and typing it down, and now she's a computer expert? What the fuck? So you have to give me the idea that it says girls can't code. They were just typing on a computer like you type on a typewriter, you dumb bitch. That's what a secretary did, you dummy. This is the problem with the media. Media today is controlled by women and feminists, so they let their buddies in. Oh, you're a big-time feminist, and you have these radical beliefs. I'm going to let you be a writer for my newspaper, for my online piece of crap blog. Oh, yeah. And, of course, you can't write worth a damn. You can't think worth a damn, and your critical thinking skills suck. And you think that a secretary is a computer expert because she's typing on a computer. Ah! So you have to get rid of the idea that says girls can't code when the world's first programmer is a woman. What do you mean is a woman? You mean was a woman? The world's first programmer was not a woman. What are you talking about? Also, you shouldn't encourage a professional workplace that excludes lesbian, gay, bi, trans, people of color, women when hiring because diversity means profit for your company. Okay, first of all, it's illegal to exclude any of those people, so you risk a major lawsuit. And affirmative action actually pushes bosses to hire these people. So it's good for your company to actually hire these people so they're in demand. There's no discrimination going on. And if anything, these people have a leg up. But diversity doesn't mean profit. That's just a talking point. Can you tell me why diversity means profit? It doesn't mean. Diversity of thought means profit. Diversity of skin color doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Yo, moron. And diversity of ideas is what really means profit, okay? Not thought. Diversity of ideas. All these people have different skin colors, but they have the same ideas in their heads. They're all leftists. They're all socialists. They all share the same belief systems and the same ideas about how to do things, which is very bad. But you don't want that kind of diversity, do you? Of course not. You want a bunch of robots who all think the same. Number 2, women aren't men. No. You don't say. Well, the women aren't men, then why are you so concerned with shoehorning them into jobs that are predominantly worked by men? Because you're acknowledging that women, this is the interesting thing. So here she is acknowledging that men and women are different, yet earlier she said that you need to avoid anti-diversity memos and anti-diversity movements in the workplace that go against having diversity. Okay? Yeah. But at the same time, you're against, it's so interesting, you're against all male or all female workplace. Well, you're obviously against all male. You clearly haven't said anything about all female workplace. You have no problem with that. But you're clearly against all male workplaces, which, yeah, fits in your little diversity bullshit. But now you're saying that, oh, women and men aren't the same. Well, if they're not the same, then you're acknowledging that there are differences of some kind biologically that are not social constructs. Otherwise, you would have said they are the same, and the differences you see are just social constructs. So we're acknowledging a difference, so it should be okay if you have all male or all female employees in a particular job. Oh, but oh no, we have to go against that. This is the problem with leftists, always contradicting themselves. So you don't do locker room talk when you're working. I was shocked when I visited Booker Tiger Company in Berlin and the 5 all-male developer team. Right, oh, wait a second now. If men and women are not the same, why is it a problem for an all-male developer team? Oh, it just is. It goes against the idea of diversity. But but the fact that men and women are not the same also means that they're biologically going to have preferences based on their biology, meaning their innate skills for particular jobs. Oh, no, we need to ignore that. Why'd you say it in the first place? The 5 all-male developer team was visiting Facebook profiles of the female candidates and commenting on their body proportions. If that's true and we only have a word for it, yeah, it's immature. But so what? That's very, very bad. No, that's not very, very bad. That's not even bad. That's normal. Get over it, honey. And by the way, if you think that a room full of cackling hens wouldn't be commenting on the man's apparent cock size who came in for an interview, they saw the outline of his cock in his pants. He looks like he got a big one. Yeah, he got a big one. Oh, I wonder how he is in bed. Come on. That's how women talk all the time. You don't have a problem with that? Women tend to adapt, and most of the time adaptive women start to act like bros in the team. That's also bad. Why? But I thought everything was a social construct, right? Women acting more like men is good, isn't it? Oh no, women aren't men and there's biological differences, but it's not okay if they want to do different jobs than men and they end up doing different jobs and you have a 5 all-man team and you can't have a 5 all-man team because men and women shouldn't be taking different jobs because they're the same. Oh, but wait, they're not the same. What a daffy bitch. That's also bad. I'm not telling that women... What? She can't write. You wouldn't say, I am not telling, and then not follow it by a subject, object of some kind. I'm not telling people that women are sensitive. You should be saying, just generally, you're not saying that women, she can't write. This is what I mean. These people can't write anymore. These people in the media, they just hire their friends just because they have the right ideology, the right political beliefs, but they can't write worth a goddamn. This is like third grade writing. You cunt. You learn how to fucking write, bitch. I'm not saying that women are sensitive snowflakes. Yes, they are. Yes, look at you. Look at you. You freak out because some men are looking at some broads on a Facebook page. You social justice warrior piece of shit. You talking about microaggressions because somebody's words, you perceive their words as physical violence. I'll show you some physical violence, baby. How about I punch you in the face? Then maybe you'll see the difference. This is the problem with women and leftists. They've never been in a fight in their life. They're all a bunch of goobers, a bunch of geeks. They've never been punched in the face, kicked in the balls, knocked down on the ground, and kicked in the gut, and had to curl up into a fetal position to protect their sensitive areas of their body so they don't get killed. They never had to deal with that. So they don't know what real violence is as compared to words that hurt me. I'm not saying that women are sensitive snowflakes. Yeah, you are. But you should not talk, comment, or joke about your or someone else's genitals, sex life, body proportions, or their clothes at any time. At any time? What? So now I can't even do it when they're not there? So how is it a microaggression if I'm not aggressing them at the same time? That's like saying I'm punching the air, but I'm actually punching the person even though they're not there to punch. What? This bitch is crazy. You're a moron. Number 3, women aren't ornaments. Well, no shit. I haven't met an ornament yet that weighs 110, well, okay, we're talking about American women now, 150 pounds that I can hang on the Christmas tree and it won't break the freaking branch. Hell, she'd break the tree. You shouldn't hire women for your marketing efforts, which proves that your company is a modern, diverse company. Wait, what? I thought you wanted people to hire women. Now you're saying you don't want companies to hire women for marketing efforts just to prove their... Well, why would I do it, then? Why would I do it? They're less productive than men. They sit around all day cackling and polishing their nails and talking about their boyfriend's cock size and how good he is in bed. And that's how women talk to each other. And all of us men know it. Why else would I hire them? You cannot fake the goodwill. What was she talking about? You're not talking about a specific goodwill. You're talking about goodwill generally speaking. You wouldn't use the. You wouldn't use anything. You wouldn't use an article at all. You would just say, you cannot fake goodwill. Oh, she's a moron. You can't write, you dumb bitch. Otherwise, you will end like GitHub, as stated by Coraline Ada M. Key in Massive Interactive. I saw, you mean a Massive Action. I saw managers saying things like, I love girl devs in my team. What's wrong with that? He likes having women on his team. You have a problem with that? Oh, he used the word love. Oh, and that seems too personal. And he likes, wait, so he likes women on his team and you have a problem with that. What? Oh, because he's somehow objectifying them? Because he's liking them being on his team? You don't know why. You're just inferring a belief based on your own bias. Oh, he loves women on his team? That must mean he sees them as objects to make himself look more progressive. Oh, that's so wrong. He needs to be genuine and want them on his team because he respects their skills. Oh, yes, I have to control his thoughts now and how he thinks. Oh, I just can't get myself out of his head. I have to be in his head and I have to control how he thinks. Of course you do, you leftist, communist scumbag, you. Firstly, they're not your devs. Oh, yeah, well, they work for him, they are. During the day, they're his. If they don't like it, get the fuck out of the building. No, he doesn't own them, but they work for him. In the possessive sense, they are his employees. Are they not his employees? He can't use the possessive pronoun. Is that what you're saying, bitch? You have a problem with their language? And of course, you must understand that the reason why leftists have a problem with people's language is because language controls thought. And if you control people's thoughts, you control the people. I don't think many of you understand how powerful language is. It's why the left works so hard to change the definitions of words. If you change the definitions of words, you change how people think. If you change how people think, you can control how people think. And if you can control how people think, you control the people and you control the country they live in. You don't possess them. Also calling women as girls. What is this? What is this writing? No, also calling women girls or girl devs is disrespectful. No, it's not. Well, what? Oh, I'm using the word girl, so I'm being disrespectful? Well, you have a problem with everything that this person is saying. First they're using the possessive. See, this is what I'm talking about. Control. Now, she wants those women that work for this guy to actually be in charge of the company. They're going to run things even though they work for him. Because now he's got to walk around on eggshells for fear of saying the wrong thing and getting sued. So they want to run things. Women always want to control everything. Even if they're not the boss, they want to be in charge of every motherfucking thing. So they control how you speak, control how you think. They run the show. She's been hired as a developer, but she's really the boss. Boy, you want to work with that? Also, calling women girls is disrespectful. Just act respectfully to the women and don't say things. First of all, respect is earned, not given. I'm not going to respect you because you have a fucking vagina. I'm going to respect you because you do the goddamn job well. If you do the job well, you're going to get my fucking respect. If you do it shitty, you're not going to get any fucking respect from me. Just because you're a woman with a vagina. And by the way, I'm your motherfucking boss. And if I'm your fucking boss, respect me, bitch, because I guarantee you, I earned this job. And I am your fucking boss, and I pay your motherfucking salary. So you better at least pretend you respect me. I'm not going to pretend to respect you. I tell you what the fuck to do. You don't like how I talk to you? Get another job, bitch! Next. Oh, and the final sentence, don't say things to women that you don't say to men in your team. Well, if I call them boys, boy, get your ass to work. Girl, get your ass to work. Will that make you happy? I'm treating everybody equally. I'm treating everybody equally shittily. Number 4, don't do things to women that you don't do with men in your team. Well, did you just say that? Didn't you just say that? You just said that in the last sentence of number 3, and now you're trying to turn it into a whole nother category? Get the fuck out of here, bitch. You can't write. Do not pay women less. Jesus Christ, this again? Bitch, that's illegal. You can't pay women less. It's against the law. You have to pay the same amount of money to a woman if she has the same qualifications as another man. If they're both doing the same job title, they have to be paid exactly the same. It's far too easy to prove that a woman is being paid less than a man who does the same job. It's far too easy to prove it and sue and win. Companies do not pay less. They pay women more, you dummy, because getting a woman to work for you, especially in a STEM field, in a technology field, whatever, in STEM fields specifically, but in business, whatever, is a feather in your cap. It's a diversity hire, okay, which is a good thing. It's an affirmative action hire. It staves off possible lawsuits. It makes you look good. And since there's far fewer of women in these jobs than men, and these women are wanted more than the male employees to stave off possible lawsuits that could cost the company millions of dollars, they're actually in demand. You ever heard of supply and demand? So there's less of women. The companies want to hire them more, so the women actually will get paid more than the men. You dummy! If 2 people are doing the same job, no shit. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, and because you say it happens doesn't mean it does happen. You're just living in the past. You're living in the 1960s. You're not living in the present. This is something that leftists don't understand linear time. They always say in the 1960s, in the 1970s, in the 1950s. They're always talking about the past. And they think the past is the present. And they don't seem to understand that it's not 1950 anymore, you dumb bitch. Your ass ain't going to be in the fucking kitchen baking cookies. You wouldn't even know how to bake a cookie if you tried, okay? So get the fuck out of here. You can't bake. You can't cook. It's not 1950s anymore. And you're not June Cleaver. Also, you should have some effort. You mean make some effort to hire a woman when all of your engineers... I told you, they always want to be in STEM jobs. Women want the good, easy jobs. And they think these jobs are easy. They see they pay well. I'm not having to lift anything heavy. Ooh, that's for me. Of course, this is why America's tech fields and everything are going to crap, and engineering is going to crap, and America doesn't build anything good anymore, produce anything good anymore. Too many women in these STEM fields. Don't use excuses like we can't find them. There are far more men. What? Wait. I'm supposed to go looking for women now? I'm supposed to create programs and then bar men from the job so only women applicants will get hired? What? What about hiring on merit? What about hiring people based on merit? Oh, no. You can't hire people based on who's best at the job because that's generally going to be a man. And we as women, we know that. But we don't really want to admit that because if we did, then we would never get a job. So you have to hire a certain amount of women to make the feminists in the government happy. Because there are many talented and unemployed women in software business who are struggling to find a job, including me. She has no job. She's just some loser broad who is essentially writing this article to try and advertise her services, and she's trying to guilt employers into hiring her. Hire me, I'll make your company better. Can you imagine this bitch running around your company, riling up all the women, getting everybody upset over microaggressions and shit? And sexual harassment that isn't happening? My God, I would shoot myself in the head before I hired this bitch to work for me. This is so funny. Number 5, don't interrupt women when they're talking. I love it. What if she's my fucking employee? What makes you so special? Oh, wait. So no, she doesn't say don't interrupt anyone. Or don't interrupt men. Don't interrupt women. Shouldn't interrupt men, and men shouldn't interrupt women. Oh, no. Don't interrupt women. It's perfectly okay to interrupt a man. You can interrupt a man until the cows come home, but do not interrupt a woman because a woman is so smart. She's fucking Einstein, don't you know? Don't ever interrupt her train of thought, her train of speaking, because if you do, you could miss out big time on the little gems she might drop that could make you millions, even billions of dollars. Another disgusting thing is to interrupt women. Well, what about interrupting men? Women do that all the time. Why is it wrong to interrupt a woman? What if she's talking nonsense? What if she won't shut the fuck up? And she doesn't even take time to breathe. What if she's one of these like tiny breathers? You know these people who are like, and they take these little tiny breaths. You know people who talk a lot, and they just like nonstop, verbal diarrhea, and they just take such little breaths that you don't have a chance to essentially, thrust your way into the conversation in between the intervals when they're talking, and then they stop to breathe. It's like such a little interval between when they stop. You can't fucking jump into the conversation and shut them up. So sometimes you have to interrupt somebody. What's wrong with that? Oh, you can't do it to a woman, though. Another disgusting thing is to interrupt a woman, steal her idea that she said 5 minutes ago. Who does that? And rephrase the idea as your proposition. Boy, oh boy. Really? When is that happening to women? Outside of movies. I haven't seen that happening. When is that happening? I've yet to see any, even anecdotal evidence where a woman gives a specific example. Unbelievable. Yeah, give me, you're just making shit up, honey. It happened to me, and I hear it's not uncommon. You hear it's not uncommon. Oh, it happened to you. Oh, it happened to you. So if it happened to you, it must happen to everybody, because all women are one organism. The bane of collectivism. Fucking Borg. Happened to me. I hear it's not uncommon. You hear it from who? Who do you hear it from? In Massive Interactive, I was always questioned about my coding style. Oh, she's a fucking... Why are we just hearing now that this bitch is some kind of software engineer coder? This whole article is her trying to advertise herself to get a job. That's all it is. She's probably got a friend at this Medium website, this online rag that this is posted on. I need a job. Can you help me? Well, can you write? I'm a shitty writer, but I'm a die-hard third-wave feminist, and I believe all the same shit you do. Well, okay, I'll let you write an article, and maybe it'll help you get a job. Of course she's so biased. Of course she's so biased. She's writing about herself and trying to pass that off as every woman. Yeah, right, you're every woman, honey. Unfortunately, she does represent a lot of pathetic weakling women these days. Pussy-ass snowflake bitches who can't handle the slightest amount of stress. In Massive Interactive, I was always questioned about my coding style, and my working hours, probably because your code sucked. And they were questioning you about it to see if it stood up to scrutiny and if it was the problem that they were trying to solve, and it probably was. Sometimes, even though I had serious medical conditions, oh boy, you had serious medical conditions that affected your ability to work. Yeah, gee, let's hire you. It wasn't important. I had to report when I was going home early. Oh, geez, those sons of bitches making you report to the boss that you got to go home early. Those bastards, how unreasonable of them. Or about my architectural... I thought you were a coder. Now you're an architect? My architectural decisions, which I was responsible of. You mean for? Well, she can't write worth a damn, and I'm not even sure if English is her first language, but if it is, she can't write worth shit, she can't express herself worth shit, and I'm guessing she's a crappy coder, and now she's working in architecture. Well, which are you, honey? You're a coder, or you're an architect? I'm multi-talented. Yeah, right. Means that you're not good at anything you do. The male colleague who was doing the exact same thing, the second iOS developer in our project could go to his home early without notifying his manager, and it wasn't a problem at all. But if I do the same thing, I was yelled at least 10 minutes. Bullshit. Notice she's not filling in any context. Your male colleague, she says colleague. That doesn't mean he was the same job title as her. She just said, yeah, my male colleague who was a boss. Well, did the same thing too. She just uses the word colleague. She doesn't tell you that he was either boss or was higher up than her, and he probably finished all of his work early, and he might have worked at home as well, and he had earned those privileges, which she did not. Oh, but he's a man, and he's doing something, and I can't do it. Yeah, because you're lower down in the company, you dumb bitch. You're lower on the fucking totem pole. That's why, you dummy. It turns out that you have a higher position in the company. If you produce more, you get some greater advantages. You don't just get the same advantage as some other guy in the company because you have a fucking vagina. Dummy. What a dummy. I hear that nitpicking is also not. God, you can't write. The negative should come before the... Oh, yeah. Should come after it, you dummy. All right, I hear that nitpicking is not also an uncommon thing and one of common microaggressions from men to women. What? I hear that nitpicking is... So the not should be coming after the also... So I hear that nitpicking is also not an uncommon thing and is common. It should be a common microaggression from men to women. What? Nitpicking? What are you talking about? Now she's just trying to flip the script. We all know that women nitpick and nag men to death. So now she's trying to take something that she angrily, bitterly sees that men say about women and flip the script and say, oh no, I'm a scumbag leftist. I'm going to take what you do to me. I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to take something that I do to you and I'm going to flip it around and say that you do it to me. And then it's going to leave you shocked and stunned and you're not going to have any way to respond to that because you didn't expect that from me. And then you're going to have to defend yourself. And then we all just forgot about what we were talking about, which was about me and how I do this job shittily. I feel the nitpicking when I send some code to some company for being hired. Oh, they didn't like your work. So they must be racist because you're such a special genius. You're such a special genius, Top Tall, Google. Oh, well, Google, yeah, they should have hired you. You're a diehard feminist, even if your code sucks. I'm sure they would accept the same code coming from a man. How are you sure? Wait, what do you mean, how are you sure? How do you know that? What are you talking about? First of all, Google fired that guy who wrote that diversity memo when it was really not. It was not. They asked for feedback from their employees and they fired him because they didn't like his feedback, and it was totally 100% non-offensive in any way, but they still took offense and fired him. And you think Google didn't hire you because you're a woman? Are you kidding? The company CEO is a friggin' feminist. And a woman, she's an idiot. I'm sure they would accept the same code. No, you're not. You don't know that. You would have to give that code to a man and have him send it into the company and give it to, say, 10 men. Because you'd have to give it to 100 men because you don't know, because maybe some other guy sent better code and they hired him. Oh, my code is the best. No, goddammit, I'm living in a land of cognitive dissonance and denial. It's impossible that my code couldn't be up to stuff. I'm a fucking genius. No, it's that I'm a woman. Right. Don't you just love it? Leftists have a real problem with self-awareness and reflection. Whenever there's something that goes wrong in their life, they always blame it on some aspect of leftist ideology. Oh no, I'm perfect. I'm wonderful. There's a conspiracy of people out to get me. Can anyone say tinfoil hat? This is not an assumption. This is science. Well, you saying it's science doesn't mean it's science. And how is you being sure that your code, that's just total speculation. Did you do a double-blind study where 1,000 men were given the same code? Or like, I mean, how would you do this exactly? How would you be able to test this scientifically? Let me think about this here. So we give your code to 1,000 women and 1,000 men, and they go and apply at 100 different companies, and then we look at the statistics and see who was hired, men over women, and all the women and the men would have to have the same experience and the same education, and they all have the exact same code. They would all have to conduct themselves exactly the same way in the interview and give the exact same answers. There's no study like that's ever been done, and that's the only way that you could determine that your nonsense statement was factually true, meaning scientific, you idiot. What do you think? The people reading this are morons? They don't know what science is and how studies work to prove something is scientifically true? You bonehead, gypsy-looking fucking cunt, you. Give equal chances to talk in meetings. No. Maybe you're the lowest on the totem pole, and maybe you said something that doesn't make any sense, and maybe you don't know anything about the subject being discussed, and when you spoke, you showed that you didn't know anything about the subject being discussed, so we didn't want to listen to you anymore and hear what you have to say. Oh, that's a problem because I'm a woman, not because my ideas suck. Ask them their opinion. No. If they do not accept something, do not consider them bitching or whining, or do not fire them. This is projection here. She's been fired because she's a big mouth. She can't shut the fuck up. That's my speculation, bitch. And it's a hell of a lot more scientific than what you just said, because your words and your projection and your own reciting of your personal experiences is giving me the answer to this question. I can infer that you have been fired because of this exact same reason. And you thought it was because, they didn't want to listen to a woman. No, they want to listen to you big mouth cunt. Number 6, don't do inappropriate things with women. What is this? That's like saying the default position is that men do inappropriate things with women. That if you don't tell guys not to rape women, they'll rape women. If you don't tell guys not to grab women's asses, they'll grab women's asses. So essentially, you're talking down to men, and you are mansplaining to us with this. You are womansplaining to us with this fucking article. It's essentially the equivalent of mansplaining flipped around. But that's okay. You're condescending. You're superior, you're arrogant, you're talking down to men, and you're treating us as if we are de facto animals, toxic masculinity, which means automatic rapists. We're automatically woman abusers, and we need you women to remind us of how to be civil. I see. If a woman in the workplace smiles at you, it should be at you, not to you, bitch. Do not consider this behavior as flirting. I see. Okay. Also, if you need my advice... now it's you! So you've inserted... Also, she keeps inserting herself into the story. First, she's talking about somebody in the third person, some nameless, faceless person, and then she's inserting herself into the story and talking in the first person. This woman, she can't write worse shit. You can't write worse shit, bitch. Also, if you need my advice, don't flirt in your company at all. What? Oh, my God. I wouldn't hire you if people paid me to do it. Don't give nice compliments that you are not doing to your male... What? Don't give nice compliments that you are not giving to your male counterparts. What? I don't understand that way. I can't compliment you. You don't want me to compliment you if I'm not complimenting the men. What? I am confused. Don't ever ask questions about their personal life. I can't be friendly? How are you? How was your day? I'm a special snowflake. Don't talk to me. Their age? What's wrong with asking someone their age? Or their family? What? Nothing is allowed. Yeah, everybody has to stay separate. Everybody has to be on edge. Everybody has to be abrasive to everybody else. Nobody can get along. You have to have a constant state of tension in the office. Of course, we can't have people getting close or knowing each other or getting along. That would destroy the whole purpose of feminism in the workplace, which is to cause division. Never talk about sexuality, something related with sex when you are in the workplace. And if the woman does not give you their conscious consent outside of your company too. What? I have to get permission from a woman to talk about something. Go fuck yourself. She ain't gonna get permission from me for anything. And if she talks sexually or anywhere else, and I go and try to complain about it, nobody's gonna do a goddamn thing. So fuck you. I really hate when people approach me asking something related with book and turns the topic to their personal life. This woman is taking her own personal experiences and trying to ramp them up to include every woman. Nobody's interested with your personal life. Even if you're George... Whoa! Who the fuck are you, bitch? You are one angry, bitter, nasty... And she sounds so bitter. Nobody's interested in your life. What it really means is that nobody's interested in her. Nobody wants anything to do with her because she's this mean, nasty, hateful, bitter, third-wave feminist cunt. And so she's bitter and angry that nobody wants anything to do with her. So she's just going to project outward her anger and bitterness. And she's going to try to apply it to everybody else. Nobody's interested in you. Well, bitch, get a clue, because some people might be interested in my life, even if they're not interested in your life. And you think that people would not be interested even if it's George Clooney? Nobody's interested in George Clooney's life? No, bitch. I love it how she puts herself right on par with George Clooney. Like, her life is so wonderful and interesting. And that if nobody's interested in her life, well, they couldn't possibly be interested in George Clooney's life. I love it. The high and mighty attitudes of these feminists. Unbelievable. Amazing that you're unemployed, honey. I don't see how that's possible with your lovely, rosy attitude. and your high opinion of yourself. I just don't get it. I don't think even the George Clooney, you don't use the for people. You just say even George Clooney. I don't even think George Clooney talks about his personal life or personal lives with people around him. She didn't put with there, by the way, when they are working. So what? Men don't do that either. What are you talking? She's trying to. This is wonderful. Oh my God. First of all, she tells us, don't do this with all women. Don't pay women less. Don't judge all women in this way. And then she goes and judges all men in a specific way and talks to men in a way that, and judges men in a way that we're not supposed to talk to or judge women. Unbelievable. The cognitive dissonance here that she doesn't see that she's doing exactly what she's telling men not to do. A sterile workplace is very important for the work. Right. No. It's very important for a leftist, for a feminist, for a socialist, because you want to agitate. You want to create tension and division. You don't want to create cooperation between men and women. No. It can even kill you, like lap a flight through or ruin your company's reputation, like Uber. Uber's reputation isn't ruined. Uber has problems because of dumb bitches like you get in their cabs and you feel entitled. Oh, this isn't your Uber, honey. I'm waiting for somebody else. Take me home, bitch! No. Lady, somebody else called me. I'm an entitled woman! Drive me home! And when the Uber driver says no, you hit him on the head with your fucking handbag and you won't get out of the car. The only people ruining Uber's reputation is cunts like you. It goes on to say, don't touch women other than handshaking, please. This is so stupid. So stupid, like a pat on the shoulder or a well done, pat on the back. Yeah, please. Yeah, nothing normal is allowed anymore. We have to create a new normal where everything's sterile, everything's impersonal, and we're all fucking Borgs, fucking ants in a fucking ant colony. Number 7, have a plan if you want to hire different people. This item in the list is not confined to women only. Oh, everything else is confined to women only. Yeah, right. Essentially, that men can't do this, women can. I see. This doesn't apply to men, but it applies to women. Right, okay. If you intend to hire a person of diversity, have a plan about it. What do you mean, a person of diversity? That makes no sense. You mean if you hire somebody because of diversity, which you should never do. You should always be hiring people based on merit. So you just admitted that women can't get jobs based on merit, so you need diversity. Lovely. For example, I had 3 Skype interviews of 2 hours in 1.5 months. She doesn't put a point there. She puts a comma. With Future 500. You mean Fortune 500? They examined my code, opening my side projects from GitHub, asking hundreds of open-ended questions. Wanted to see my live coding. I did all that, and at the end, their excuse was I was bad at technical communication. This bitch, she's just angry, and she's vomiting all of her anger and her frustration that she can't get a job because she's not very good at her job, and she's not very good at coding. But, of course, it can't be her fault. It's never a woman's fault. It's always a man's fault. It's the institution's fault. It's the institutional racism. It's the institutional sexism. It's the implicit bias. It's the unconscious bias. It's the patriarchy. It can't be the fact that I can't do code worth shit. This was, at the end, utterly stupid excuse. She can't even speak English or write, and she can't express herself well in this article, technically or otherwise. I can see what they're talking about. She's horrible at expressing herself. Utterly stupid excuse. Lady, you are so dumb, you can't even do the job which you have went to school for and tried to do, but you suck at it, and the only time you've ever gotten hired was because you're a woman, a diversity hire, essentially, and now you're running into companies where you can't use your victimhood status as a privileged white female who has it the easiest in all the fucking world, and you're getting angry because now you're encountering the real world where merit is more important? Too bad. Because I wrote a technical book that was sold out in 8 months. 8 months? What are you talking about, sold out? What does that mean, in 8 months? They made one batch of 10,000 and it took 8 months to sell 10,000 books that you probably marketed your ass off to sell on every feminist website on the planet, begging women to buy your book because you're a woman and you're supporting a woman and a feminist in a field that's largely populated by men. Big whoop-de-doo-dah. I'd be impressed if your book sold out in a day. 8 months, big fucking deal. It just means they made one run And they didn't make a second run. They made a certain number of copies, and it took them 8 months to sell that. So actually, that's not impressive at all. That's pretty fucking sad. They didn't even have enough confidence in you to make a second run of your books, and they made a certain number, and then they stopped making them, and then it took 8 months to sell them all. I'm supposed to be impressed by that? What do you think? I couldn't figure that out? Did you think that telling me that would impress me and that I wouldn't figure out that actually the case was it took 8 months to sell the crappy books of yours that they did make, and they made a limited number? Not impressive, honey. I do not believe that any of their candidates or employees in their whole all-white man team has a similar achievement. What? You are applying for a job as a book printer, as a writer? What achievement? You got some third-tier publisher to make 5,000 copies of your books or something, and it took 8 months to sell the piece of shit. Your book is nothing more than tissue paper or ass-wiping paper. Big whoop-de-doo-dah. What achievement is that? She goes on to say, do not waste people's time if you don't intend to change your all-white male developer team. Oh, I see. So, but this is totally... Is this the company that was in... Oh, I see. This was the company that was in Berlin that she went to visit, where that 5-man team was talking about chicks on whose profiles they saw on Facebook and talking about their body proportions. And of course, you assume that they didn't hire you because you're a woman, because as somebody who's suffering from massive cognitive dissonance and a total lack of self-awareness, it has to be that. It can't be the fact that you suck at code. No. Consequently, I do not believe that most of the men are doing these kind of microaggressions intentionally. Yeah, we are just all scumbag, brutes, Neanderthal, uncivilized, woman-hating pieces of shit, biologically speaking. We're naturally made this way by nature, and we need you women and those cucked mangina pussy boys out there who have succumbed to your bullshit and are now parroting it along with you to teach us how to act better. Yeah, we need women to civilize us. All those behavioral patterns. Behavioral patterns. I was right. Or inherited from generation to generation. I haven't even read this article, and I just foretold what she was going to say. Yes. Oh, it's biology. It's genetics that make us men nasty, evil, aggressive brutes. And even our words are violence. But is a woman capable of microaggressions? Or is it just men? So if the words come from a woman, they lack the strength to hurt me. But if my words hurt a woman, then that's a microaggression because it comes from a man, and my words somehow have more strength and force to harm than the words from a woman, even though the words from a woman... What? What does my physical strength have to do with my verbal strength? Oh, because I'm smarter and I have more logic and reason, and since I can logic and reason better, my words can do more harm to you than your words can do to me. Well, why don't you just come out and say I'm smarter and better than you? Which is, by the way, why you can't get these jobs, because these companies hire on merit, not on diversity, at least the ones that you have hired and wanted to work for, and they thought your code sucked compared to the people they could get the job to do the job who could do better than you. Dumb bitch. Oh, yeah, it is inherited from generation to generation, our brilliance, and what you call it microaggressions. That's bullshit. There are, of course, disgusting people like James Damore, but I believe that... What's even more funny is James Damore's memo was in no way anti-woman. It talked about the same biological differences between men and women that make men more likely to prefer jobs in tech, as this woman is talking about in regards to microaggressions that men supposedly have inbred into them from generation to generation. So she's making the same fucking arguments that James Damore made, and she's got a problem with his arguments, but she's perfectly okay with hers, which are exactly the same arguments. She is one dumb cunt. But I believe that he was meaning all those things. Also, please do not be like Uber. What is she talking about with Uber? The only thing I've seen about Uber is a bunch of crazy bitches getting in those cabs and acting all entitled, and they're getting into the wrong Uber and expecting the driver to take them somewhere when they're waiting for someone else who called them and ordered an Uber. So in order to increase the diversity in your company, start to respect different people from you. People who are different from you, you mean? She can't even speak proper English, and yet she wants to get a job in an American company, which is an English-speaking country. Start respecting women around you. Because they have vaginas? Bitch, let me tell you something. I don't respect you because you have a vagina. I don't respect you at all. I have no respect for you. You've lost any respect you might have gained from me with your stupid writing and your stupid reasoning and your stupid logic and your bullshit conclusions and your speculations that are total nonsense. Anybody out there listening that might own a tech company, do not hire this woman. Run away from her as if she was the plague. So I guess it never occurred to this woman that she maybe didn't get these jobs because she has a terrible attitude, doesn't take responsibility for her actions, has been fired umpteen amount of times because of her crappy attitude, and isn't very good at programming. No, I guess that never occurred to her, of course, because she's a woman. And gentlemen out there, this is the perfect example of women working today in professional fields, in STEM fields. They're entitled. They're almost totally lacking in merit and skill. They've only gotten their jobs by and large because they're women, and they've never ever had to face rejection from an employer, so they feel entitled because of their feminism and their supposed lifetime of suffering that they feel like now they should be paid back with an easy life and instant automatic gratification by getting whatever they want, which isn't reality, as she is finding out. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Please like and subscribe. And if you would, donate to my Patreon. You'll find a link in the description and a pinned comment in the comments section. And, of course, at the last 20 seconds of this video, you'll find a link you can click for my Patreon account. I am the mgtowphilosopher, and I wish you well. Take care.